Today's video is brought to you by eWin Racing, the best source for gaming chairs and desks for those long gaming sessions. We have a playlist for our eWin chair and desk videos linked in the video description. Save 30% off everything using the discount code TECHDEALS. More details at the end of the video.
So, how many times have I said that Tesla is stupid?
Lots.
Okay. I would like to announce that I plan on spending money with Tesla, but not in this house, in the next house we buy. This never pays for itself. Now, to people saying you should install solar because it makes economic sense, no, it doesn't. Solar makes no economic sense whatsoever in Texas. In Cali, in Hawaii, in New York, if snow's not an issue, you need heated panels up there. Australia, Germany, there are places it makes sense. But it makes no sense in Texas because our power is entirely too cheap. But what this does provide is 2 days of backup power. And this is a 16.32 kilowatt solar panel system for our roof, plus 4 Tesla Powerwalls, which according to their calculator is enough to run our air conditioner. And that's important because what I don't want is a backup power solution where you have to go and start flipping off breakers and saying, well, we can only run this and we can't run this, and now we have to change what we're... I mean, you'd want to be reasonably conservative because obviously there's a limit to the power, but even during those 2 days of backup power, when there's sun, you are getting power off the panels.
True. And
you can add more power walls if you want to get additional. In truth, I was sitting here looking at the numbers. I probably would do 6.
6 and not 4.
Yeah, it'd add another 70 or 80 bucks a month.
It would like take up a whole wall in the garage.
Yeah, they just line up along the side, but they're about that thick. You'll never notice them. They're not that thick.
Don't they?
They're tall and wide, but they're fairly thin. So they just stick on the wall and you just ignore them.
Okay.
And the benefit to that, and I actually remember seeing somebody say, well, why don't you just get 1 or 2 for the occasional power outage? The problem is each Tesla Powerwall can only put out so many watts. And so even if you don't care about the 2.5 days, the wattage and amperage isn't high enough to drive your AC and your furnace. And so...
Well, yeah, you need it to run either or because you don't know when you're losing it.
There's another benefit to having the Tesla Powerwall, which is you could recharge it during the day with the solar panels and then use it at night and become fairly grid independent, which your backup generator doesn't let you do. And if the natural gas is cut off for any reason, the generator is useless.
That's true.
But this actually will work. If you lost grid connection for a month, this would still work. You'd have to moderate your power usage. You would then have to start becoming picky. But this would continue to work essentially forever because the solar panels would recharge during the day and you could use the power walls at night. And while you would have to live with whatever power the solar power generated,
correct,
it does last indefinitely.
True.
Several people suggested a generator because they said, well, the generator, as long as the natural gas is coming, is unlimited. So's the sun.
Well, as long as you're not under snow and ice, you're fine.
Yeah, you know what? I thought that too. We have several neighbors that have solar panels.
And they must have it just at the right angle because there's no snow on them. Well,
there's snow everywhere. There's a little bit of snow.
On one angle there is, but most of them are completely clear.
So, now this is expensive, but I would like to point out the fact that my fellow taxpayers are kind and are going to give me $16,328. Thank you, fellow taxpayers, for installing this, bringing the cost down to $46,472, which works out to $316 a month. But that will take anywhere between $150 to $200 a month off my electric bill. It doesn't cancel out the electric bill and it doesn't pay for itself out. The solar panels are about break even over 25, years, but they're really not.
Years.
No, when you consider the cost of money, they're not. But the Powerwall, you're getting a backup generator for $100, $150 bucks a month.
Exactly. If you need it, it's there.
And then we don't have to go through what we've gone through. And there is another reason to do it. Having the Powerwalls does something really interesting. Power is cheap today. There's no assurance it'll be cheap in 5 years.
Correct.
It'll be cheap in 10 years. Who knows what rules and regulations will get passed? If the power price doubles, this suddenly becomes cheap. It's insurance. It isn't
That's true.
cheaper than our current. We currently pay less than 10 cents per kilowatt hour. And that's total with tax and delivery fees and everything.
Everything.
If we use 1,000 kilowatts of power, our bill is less than $100 a month. It is under 10 cents a kilowatt hour. But will it stay that way? This essentially means that when we buy a new house and that we plan to stay there 15 years, we're sort of locking in a fixed cost at that point. And I don't do it now because we don't plan to stay where we're at for 10 or 15 years. Anyway, so I showed this, and a lot of people had comments about get a generator, get this, why don't you do that? Generators are loud. They take up ground space.
Obnoxious.
They require maintenance. They really need to be serviced and run every 3 months. They're an engine. They're a motor.
Exactly.
So they require attention. These are solid state batteries.
Yep.
It's kind of like with hard drives versus SSDs, and I continue to see people post worried about the reliability of SSDs. And I'm like, let's see here. Solid state printed sand versus complicated rare earth magnet motors. Which one do you want to place your bets on? You know, when I say I don't like Tesla electric vehicles, that has nothing to do with whether I believe the technology is dependable or reliable, or whether I think it's in 10 years will a Tesla have fewer maintenance issues than a gas car? Almost certainly. Yes. That's not why I don't like them. I don't like them because I think they're ugly and they're expensive and they're small. The appearance is subjective. That's an opinion. Some people think the Model S is nice looking. I like the Model S. I think the Model 3 is ugly.
The Model S is
The Model S is nice.
$100.
The Model S is $100,000, which is stupid. If I can spend $100,000, I'd buy a nice big luxury SUV.
Yeah, don't that.
And if the Model S was $100,000 for a big, huge SUV-sized vehicle, I'd feel different.
There we go.
So, anyway, I just wanted to show this and talk about this because it's I think it's interesting. Tesla's installed price for solar has started to get reasonable. Now, of course, it's reasonable because of our friends giving us $16,000 of tax money.
Very true.
And that's nice. What's interesting is the way they structure. You see this payment right here?
Yep.
Now they're not actually loaning you this. They loan you this up front. This is your tax credit you get. What they do is they set the monthly payments up at $316 a month. If you actually look at the details, I have looked at them. They give you like a 1-year balloon payment of the $16,000. So to get $316 a month, it is $316 a month for 20 or 25 years. I can't remember. Was it 20 years? Whatever. It's $316 a month for many years, but with a 1-year balloon payment. And what they're expecting you to do is to take your tax credit and send it to them. That's how they get to that price. Your other option is to finance the whole thing with no balloon payment, at which point the payment will be higher, and then you just keep your tax credit. Whatever.
Whatever.
So take your pick. It's interesting. And by the time we get around to doing it, it might be even cheaper. I mean, the price of the stuff is coming down. I think a lot of people think that I'm anti-EV or anti-solar or anti-electricity. I'm not. I'm anti
The price.
expensive.
It's anti-expensive, exactly.
I like solutions that are practical and that work. Solar and wind and hydro are absolutely things that should be included as part of our power structure. And lots of nuclear reactors. But we won't go there because I've ranted on Twitter for 2 days long enough about that nonsense.
Do you want to do a news then?
I do think it's interesting
That would be a no.
how we wouldn't have noticed the power is on here if we hadn't loaded up the computer and the cameras and the lights. We took apart your entire setup over there to take home to live stream from home. This is another thing that blows my mind. There's people who have been following me for a long time on Twitter and who watch our videos. In fact, one guy called out and I said, "You clearly don't watch our live streams." And he goes, "I watch all your live streams. I have you on in the background while I'm doing other stuff. I love your live streams." And I'm like, then why do you think because he goes, "Well, you work from home, right?" We haven't worked from home for 2.5 years.
Longer. Well, I guess, no, that's true.
October 2018, September 2018. October 2018. It was 2018 we moved into the office.
Yeah, it was.
Not quite 2.5 years ago. So for anybody who thinks we're sitting in a small bedroom at home, we're not.
Well, that's where we knew we were going to stream from.
Well, that's where we were going to stream from because I was getting antsy. Here's the funny thing. I'm sitting at home for 2 days. My lovely wife, my beautiful, adoring, amazing, awesome, wonderful wife. She goes, it's snowing. Take the time off. Relax. Just enjoy yourself. You need a break. And I'm sitting at home feeling like a useless sloth that has done nothing for 2 days. I'm antsy. I'm annoyed. I'm frustrated. I'm like, I want to go to the office. I drove to the office last night to see if there was power. We drove yesterday afternoon to see if there was power. I've been itching to come over. I'm like, I want to get something done. I have felt useless. How do people retire? What do they do with themselves?
Oh, they're usually busier than when they were working.
I'm going to start my computer museum.
There you go. They're fixing stuff, or I don't know, they're doing stuff.
I'm going to create a computer museum.
Okay.
I'm going to have all of them lined up. I'm going to have beautiful plaques made. And I'm going to have the story of each one. And I'm going to have all the stuff. And it's going to be amazing.
eWin Racing has a wide selection of chairs to fit all shapes and size of gamers, ranging from petite to cuddly. They have something for every type of person. Not just sizes, but colors and material options as well, including red, blue, purple, pink, orange, and more, plus cloth and leather choices as well. We have over half a dozen chair and desk videos in a playlist in the video description, so be sure to check those out. We also have a special offer just for Tech Deals viewers. Save 30% off everything using discount code TECHDEALS using our link in the video description. We have used eWin gaming chairs for 3 years in our office, sitting on them for up to 8 hours during our marathon live streams. They are very comfortable, and we are happy to work with eWin to bring you this special discount and recommend eWin for all your gaming chair and desk needs.